Hi, I'm Kim Fowler with Fowler Life Coaching, and I help people figure out what they want out of life and then keep them accountable with their goals so they can get there and realize it. And right now we are at the Sportsplex in Myrtle Beach, and I'm giving my How to Have Your Best Year Ever for 2018 seminar. So let's go see us in progress. I've been in the Myrtle Beach area for 4 years. I moved down here from Washington, D.C., and I got interested in life coaching in 2003. I read a book called Coach Yourself to Success, and it changed my life. I was reading about things that I didn't even think about. How you get up in the morning, you go to work, you do your routine, you do things you're supposed to do, and you're kind of dragging yourself out of bed every morning or whatever it is. And when I was reading this book, I thought, how does somebody think this way? I mean, you kind of get out of your head and start thinking about different things. You think about things that you really could accomplish in your life that you never thought about before, how amazing you actually are. And then I realized this woman is a life coach. I was reading the cover and all of that, and I thought, what is a life coach? And this was, like I said, 2003. I knew nothing about the industry, didn't know life coaches existed. It took me a few more years. I still was getting up, dragging myself to work, doing whatever. I had a job that I did love, so I was lucky. And I left my job, moved to Washington, D.C. for another job. And it was funny because it was about a year probably after I read that book. And I was being interviewed for a job, and the woman who interviewed me, she goes, "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" I said, "I see myself as a life coach," which had absolutely nothing to do with the job, but she really resonated with that, and she hired me. So I was there for about 3 years, and after that I decided, you know what, I'm going to be a life coach. So in 2008, I went to school, got my certification and all of that, and I've been doing that ever since, and I love it. So anyway, I love Myrtle Beach. I'm so glad we moved here. And kind of what is a life coach? Everyone always asks me that because even though it's been around for a while, most people really haven't heard of it. So I help you define goals. I keep you accountable on them. I help you find out what you really want out of life. Why are you here? Why are you getting out of bed in the morning? Figuring out what your skills might be, things that, maybe you just don't know what you want, right? Maybe you don't know what you're looking for, what you're supposed to be doing. So just really digging down and asking the questions, because you know what you want. We just bring it out of you, and then we make it a reality. So that's basically what a life coach does. So today, how are we going to make 2018 your best year ever? We are going to find out, where are you now? Because you have to know where you are now in order to go anywhere, right? Then we're going to find out where you want to go and why, because why is very important. If you don't know why you want something, you're probably not going to get it. What are your goals going to be? How do you stay motivated to accomplish these goals, right? So if you might come up with 10 different goals, but if number one, you don't know why you're doing it, number two, maybe it's for somebody else, and I'll have a story. This is my husband. I'll have a story about him in a minute. Maybe it's just something that you wanted spur of the moment, but it's not something that you really were all that excited about in the first place. So, there's different things you can do to really stay motivated. Self-sabotage. Does anyone do that? Yeah, we all do it. So there's lots of ways we do it. I'll go through some of those ways and some things you can do to stop doing it. And most of it's in your head. Most of it comes from yourself in your mind, not really physically. And then how do you maximize your success? So how do you make your goals successful very quickly and really set the goals that you want so that you are successful, so that you can create the life that you desire? So where are you now? So when you think about 2017, what have you accomplished this year? When I was first asked this question, I had someone say, write down 100 things you accomplished this year. And I went, are you kidding me? I can't even think of 10. So I went back through my calendar. I went back through my journal. I looked everywhere. I went, what did I do this year in my job? What did I do this year at home? Is adopting another cat an accomplishment? Then hey, I did a lot this year. I found homes for 19 cats in 2013, so that was 19 accomplishments. So I was going through everything, and guess what? I got to like 103. And I thought, wow, this is amazing. I didn't think this year was good at all, and I did all these things. So I'm going to challenge you to go home and write down 50 things you did in 2017 when you get home. And you might be surprised. Go back in your calendar, your journals, anything you might have, and just write down 50 things. And after you do that, write down another 50. So what were your biggest disappointments this year? Maybe you set out thinking, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, and you're kind of back in the same place as you were this time last year. Think about the things that you really wanted to accomplish that you really just didn't get done. And then what did you learn from those disappointments? Is it, maybe you're really not that disappointed. Maybe it wasn't something you wanted in the first place, but maybe it was, and you just couldn't figure out how to get there. And then think about the roles that you play. So a lot of times people think about different areas in their life, but really think about the roles you play. Who are you? Are you a mom? Are you a spouse? Are you a attorney, a doctor? Are you a volunteer? Are you a church member? Are you a teacher? What roles do you play in your life? Because that'll help you set your goals too. And then who are you? What kind of person are you? Because whoever you are today, if you want to reach your goals for next year, you're going to have to be a different person. There are things in your lives that you're going to have to expand. You're going to have to leave your comfort zone. So you're going to have to become a different person to actually reach the goals you want to reach. So you got to figure out who you are now. So these are the areas that I typically ask my clients to rank. Health, career field. Career field is because maybe you're in school, maybe you're studying something. Friends and family. Fun, recreation. You have to do something fun. So many of my clients will put a 2 there. It's like, I'm too busy to have fun. Money and finances. Where are you financially? Relationship, love. Your home and office environment. The reason I do that, I used to just say home, but it's very important about if you go to work every day, what is your office environment like? Because you spend a lot of time there too, so it's kind of both there, your home environment and your office environment. And then your spiritual and religious life. I get a lot of 2s there as well, because I think people think of spirituality as having to go to yoga, meditate, those types of things. Spirituality can just be an awareness. You're aware of yourself. You're aware of who you are. You're a good person. You do good things in the community. You don't have to have a little checklist of things that you have to do to be spiritual. You're learning. You could be reading books on spirituality, anything like that even. So don't rank yourself too low on that if you're not real sure. Maybe you don't go to church every Sunday. That doesn't mean you get a 0 on religion, right? So same thing with spirituality. So when you get home, I put on your sheets to rank when you get home. Really give it some thought. Where do you rank in those areas of your life? So where do you want to go? That's the next thing you got to figure out, right? You know who you are, you know where you are, but where do you want to go? What are you missing? So what do you know now that you didn't know last year? So let's say you're in a position right now that maybe you wanted to be in a completely different position right now than you were last year. You know that now, right? You know that whatever you did didn't work. Or maybe you know that what you wanted isn't really what you wanted. So just what do you know now? What have you learned from 2017? And how do you see yourself this time next year? What kinds of things do you want different? What do you want more of in your life? What do you want less of in your life? What do you want to just change altogether? And then how would each area change? When you look at that after you rank your life, how would, if you got a 2 or a 5, what's going to take it to an 8 or a 10? I always say strive for 8s. Okay, because you'll probably never be at a 10 because you're always going to want something more. 8's a good number. So if you're at a 5, just think, what do I need to get to an 8? What would make my life better next year? And then who would you have to be to get there? Like I said earlier, you're going to have to be a different person because you're going to be doing different things. You're going to be stretching yourself, getting out of your comfort zone. So the big thing is, what is your big picture, right? What is your purpose? What is your ideal life? What does an ideal day to you look like? When you wake up in the morning, what kinds of things do you want to do? Who do you want to see? Who do you want to talk to? How do you want to feel? What do you want to be doing? What do you want to wake up to? Maybe you want to wake up to a beautiful bedroom, and the first thing you're going to do is go out to your amazing kitchen and get a cup of wonderful coffee that you can sit down and just read a book every single morning. That's what you want to start doing. Whatever it is, think about your ideal day, because you want to have more of those, right? And then what is your vision, your mission? What do you want for yourself? Who do you want to be? Just the entire picture. What is your vision for your life? And I usually talk to clients about that to get into the vision. Does anyone have a vision board? Yeah, they're wonderful. Yeah, I know you do too. You wake up in the morning, you see it, and it becomes part of your subconscious. So you don't even really have to think about it. You just start doing the action that it takes to get there because it's in your subconscious, not necessarily something you have to wake up and make a list about every day. Then, what does your ideal life look like? Again, what is it? Not just an ideal day, but you're going to take it a little further and figure out what is your ideal life going to look like, say 5 years from now. Knowing your why is very important. If you don't know why you want it, you're not going to get it. And so if you know your why, it's basically going to define what your success looks like. You have to know if you want a goal, what does it look like once you have that goal so that you know that you've succeeded? If you don't have an end point, then you don't know that you got there, right? So knowing your why do you want something, and you really have to drill down on that. I have a sheet that I give clients that have why. You take one goal and you ask why? Because you really have to have a deep why on that. It helps you create better decisions, make better decisions because you know what you want. You have a clear picture of where you're going. So your decisions are so much easier to make while you're going through the process. And then it keeps you motivated because you know why you want it. If you don't know why you want it, you're not going to be motivated to do it. And then the other thing is it provides clarity and focus because every single day you know what you need to be doing to get there because you have a clear picture of it and you know why you want it. And like David Allen said, if you're not working on your own goals, you're working on somebody else's. And that has a lot to do with being focused and not letting things get in the way, like distractions, people tearing you away into another direction, and now you're working on something for them instead of what you really want to be doing, so just be careful of that. So I'm going to ask you to really quickly think of one goal that you want to accomplish in 2018. One goal. And you should have already thought of it. There are two types of goal setting systems, if you will. One of them are thoughts. One of them is SMART goals. We're going to go through that. One of them is hard goals. And that's kind of a newer concept. I love it because it really, the SMART goals are more very kind of black and white. The hard goals are a little bit more subjective. And I'll get a little deeper into both of those. And then, like I said, know your roles. What do you want to accomplish for each one of your roles? Think about who you are, and in that role, what would your goals be? And then, get clear. A lot of times we're not clear on our goals, so of course we don't get them done. And just really sitting down and thinking about them to put them into place, getting clear on what you have to do to get there. What action steps are you going to have to take? And then anticipate your obstacles. So To get clear on goals, don't have too many of them. I like to see short-term goals, and these short-term goals could lead to a step to a long-term goal, but when you start going, what am I going to do by December 31st and it's January 1st, guess what? Guess when you're going to start even thinking about that goal? Either when it's ended, or you're just going to forget it all together. You're going to go, okay, well, I'm going to do that by December 31st, so I think I'll start it in October. You don't really want to do that, obviously. So SMART goals, like I said, they're a little bit more black and white. You want it to be a specific goal. So if you said, I'm going to start running. Okay. That really doesn't tell me a whole lot. What am I going to do, run around the block once? You want to make sure that it's measurable. So how far am I going to run? How many times a week am I going to run? Is it achievable? So can I run? First of all, maybe I need to start out walking. Is it relevant? Is it something I really want? And is it timely? When am I going to achieve this goal? So instead of saying I'm going to start running and putting it down on my list of things to do, I would say this. I'm going to run a 5K race for March of Dimes, pacing an 8-minute mile on July 13th on 2018. That's my goal. So then I go backwards and figure out, what do I have to do to get there? Hard goals, on the other hand, are a little bit more subjective. So hard, heartfelt. Why is this an important goal, right? What is it you feel in your heart when you think about it? Animated. What does it look like? Can you see yourself in the picture actually achieving the goal? And what does it look like? Required achievement. Again, is it something you really, really want? Is it something that you really need to accomplish for yourself that you will be really excited about? And if you don't accomplish this goal, what's going to happen? How will you feel? And then difficult. It has to be something that's going to stretch you. If it's easy, you're probably not going to do it. It has to be something that's going to stretch you, you're going to learn from it, you're going to get out of your comfort zone, and that's going to make you a different person so that you can achieve that goal. So I like to say, make a combination. Take the SMART goal and make it a SMART goal, and then take it through the hard values. So once you have your SMART goal written out, make sure you write it, you have to write it. Is it heartfelt? Is it something that you feel really good inside when you see this goal? Is it something that you really want? Can you imagine it? Can you animate it to where you can envision yourself achieving this goal? Is it required? Is it something that if you don't achieve, you're going to feel kind of like, oh shoot, I wish it just really kills you up here? Or is it something that you think about and you're just like, yes, I cannot wait to do this. It's going to change my life. I'm so excited. And then is it difficult enough to stretch you and to make it something that you really want to do? Because something that doesn't stretch you or something that's not difficult, just say it's easy, you'll put it off. Yeah, it's no big deal. It's not as much fun. So in order to get a jump start on your goals for 2018, start now. And that doesn't mean that you have to achieve it now, of course, but just start putting everything in place. If you say, you know what, I'm going to lose weight next year, then be cognizant of it now, and don't go out and just eat everything you can in sight until December 31st, because that's just going to make it harder to reach that goal, right? Start getting into the mindset of what you want out of this goal and what you need to do. Get all your eggs in one basket, so to speak. What do you need to buy? What kind of support are you going to need? What are the resources you're going to need? Think about them now. Don't wait until January 1st. Cutting time in half. When you set your goal, I love this. This is part of the hard goals philosophy. When you set your goal, so I had that July 15th running the 5K race. Look at July 15th from January 1st. What's the halfway point? I don't know, but March or something, who knows. So let's just say it's March 15th. What do I have to accomplish by March 15th in order to reach my goal on July 15th? Right? So that's my midpoint goal. What do I need to accomplish between January and March 15th to be where I need to be on March 15th to reach that July 15th goal? So whatever half of that is, right? You go backwards. So March 15th, half of that, what do I need in that amount of time in order to reach the March 15th goal, right? So it's not just this big goal that you start in June to get to the 15th. You've actually got a plan in place and you're more successful. And then staying accountable. What are you going to do to stay accountable? We all need accountability. Sometimes we use each other for accountability. I have accountability groups I'm in. Sometimes I need a coach. There's all kinds of resources and support groups out there to keep you accountable. And then at the end of every day, just think, what did I do today to get one step closer to my goal? Whatever goal that is. When you're going to bed that night, write it down in your journal. I did this today. And guess what? This time next year, you'll be able to put down 365 accomplishments. Or maybe on December 31st, but. So getting clear, this is why sometimes we're not clear on our goals. We have too many of them. It's not something we wanted in the first place. We're not specific enough about really what we want. Or maybe it's just way too big. Maybe it's a 5-year goal, you're trying to accomplish it in a year. That's not going to work, right? So the story I was going to tell you about him.
And him is who?
So all my life, I never smoked. I had one cigarette, I think, when I was in 6th grade, and that was it. Forgot I was on camera.
You won't use that part.
Anyway, I always said I'll never marry a smoker. So what did I do? I married a smoker. So I never asked him to stop. He was always very good. Anywhere we were, he never smoked around me. But after we got married, I said, all right, we need to start going to doctor's appointments more, regularly, taking care of ourselves. I hope you don't mind. Anyway, he went to the doctor, took his blood pressure off the scale. The doctor said, you have got to quit smoking. Your blood pressure is ridiculous. So what does he do? He gets Chantix. He got serious about it. He quit smoking in 3 months. Now, if I had asked him to quit, do you think he would have been able to quit? No. It had to be for himself. And he did it, and it's been, 9 years?
Yep.
9 years. No cigarettes. Yeah. So you just have to make sure it's a goal that's for yourself, because if somebody else asks you, you are not going to do it. And those are some of the reasons that you don't reach them. So how do you stay motivated to reach your goals? Well, write it down. There's some guy out there, and I can't remember his name, but he says, write it down every single day. One goal that you're trying to achieve, write it down every single day. If you have 2, write them both down every single day. The same words, the same SMART goal every single day. That gets into your subconscious as well. So when you've got the vision board and you've got the vision statement, which is something I make for my clients, and you're reading it every day, you're seeing it every day, and I record it every day for my clients, or not every day, but I record it for my clients and they can hear it every day. And then you write it down every day, chances are you're going to succeed at that goal. Stay focused on the why. Why is it that you're doing this? Just keep that top of mind on any goal that you're trying to achieve. And you're going to have some habits that you're going to have to change more than likely, right? Because if you keep the same habits as you have, you're probably not going to change to get to that other goal. So, well, obviously, if he'd kept smoking, that wouldn't have reached the goal. That's an obvious one. But, there are certain things that we do to ourselves, which goes back to the self-sabotage as well. Sometimes we hit the snooze button, right? when we really need to just get up and go to work. Or get up and do whatever it is that we need to go do. And I'm guilty of that. I hit the snooze button. I have to say that because he knows that. But there are going to be habits that you're going to have to think about. What kind of habits do I have right now that are not going to serve me to reach this goal? And you're going to have to change them. Set a streak. So I don't know if any of you have read the book, The Spark. Can't remember the guy's name, The Spark. And if anyone wants it, I'll email it to you after this. But it is a great book. He started out on a weight loss journey. And have you heard of it? He has a whole following called Spark People. It's a website you can go to. I think it's sparkpeople.com. And he started this by getting up every single morning, no matter Sunday, Monday, whatever day it was. Even if he had to go on a trip, he would get up extra early, never missed a day, to go and do 15 minutes on the treadmill. So he started going, you know what? I've done this for 10 days. I'm not gonna stop because I have to get on a plane at 5 a.m., so he got up at 3. It kept going and going and going. On his calendar, he'd put an X, 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 till he had a streak going, and that's what he calls it, a streak. It's called consistency. It's doing something consistently to reach your goal, to change your behaviors so that you can get there. So he lost a lot of weight, not just from doing that. Of course, he changed his diet and things like that, but he credits it to having a streak and being consistent. And I think it's Jerry Seinfeld did the same thing. He wrote every single day. And he said he'd put a big red X on his calendar on every single day. When, I don't know if it was just when he was doing his sitcom. Did you see that video?
I've
Heard of it? Yeah.
Heard of him doing it.
So, and then stay motivated by evaluating your progress along the way. See where you're going. How much have you accomplished? Where are you stuck? So if you're not making the progress you want to make, what do you need to change? And then get back on the horse. You fall off, you get back on. Don't worry about doing anything differently. Just as soon as you figure out, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not making progress. Just start right there. Right in that minute, just start. Don't even think about it. Don't start going, well, I better do this first, or I got to go buy this, or just right then and there, just go, I'm getting back on the horse right now. I'm going to do whatever it takes that I need to do to reach the goal. So how do you sabotage yourself? We all do it. We tell ourselves how bad we are at something, or we can't do this, or blah, blah, blah. And I always say, if you spoke to other people the way you talk to yourself, you'd have no friends, right? You just wouldn't. Gremlins, all the chatter in your head. And it's not necessarily all negative chatter. The gremlins are trying to keep you safe. So they might say something like, oh, don't do that. That's not a good thing for you to do. But guess what? It's something that's going to take you out of your comfort zone so that you can accomplish your goal. But they're trying to keep you safe. They're trying to keep you contained. They don't want you to get out of your comfort zone. Because guess what? If you get out of your comfort zone, you're not listening to your gremlins. You don't need them anymore. And gremlins can be anything from something that your mother used to say to you to something that you just tell yourself over and over and over. And then focusing on others and comparing ourselves. We do that a lot too. Gosh, I wish I was as good as so-and-so. I'll never be able to get as good as she is. I love her clothes. I'll never be able to afford those. We got to get over that. We don't care what other people are doing or thinking. Or, that's the worst, is what are they even thinking about you? Goodness gracious. Who cares? So staying in fear mode. That's what your gremlins keep you in, is fear mode. You're afraid to get out there and just do something different. We overthink everything, especially women. We overthink things all the time. Guys are more, oh, I got to go do that, and they go do it. They don't think. Just kidding. But we overthink everything, and we just got to stop that. And I've got a little trick in here to help you do that. And then procrastination. I'm sure we all procrastinate on something. So stop your procrastination. So how to do that? Have a shorter goal. Just plan your 60 to 90 days and that's it. Because if you start planning more and more, life gets in the way, you get off track, you get derailed somehow. If you just have short spurts when you're accomplishing your goals, which is that whole cutting time in half thing, if you're just focusing on this is what I have to do this month, and then at the end of that month, you know what you have to do for the next month to get to the next month, right? So make shorter goals. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Anyone heard of Mel Robbins? She is someone who contributes a lot to Success Magazine, and she wrote a book called The 5-Second Rule. And it is a great rule. So she was not homeless. She was unemployed. She had kids. Her husband came home one day and said he lost his job and he was going to start a restaurant. And what was it she said? She said something like, no, inspiration's for strangers. You get your butt out there and get another job, right? So anyway, things were rolling along. The restaurant was really successful. They expanded and expanded and expanded and expanded way too much, way too fast, and everything went bankrupt. They had put their kids' college funding into the restaurants, their retirement into the restaurants, everything they had. So she became very depressed, didn't have a job still. He was getting up every day trying to save the restaurant, which was kind of, I guess, a futile effort. But she would lay in bed and hit the snooze button. She would not want to get up. Her kids were late for school every day. She wasn't looking for a job. She wasn't doing anything. So she said one night she was watching television and she saw NASA was shooting a rocket off. And she and her husband were fighting like crazy. You know, she just wanted to stay in bed all day. So there's a rocket going off. And she heard NASA counting, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And she said, that's it. That's it. So tomorrow morning, when I wake up, instead of hitting that snooze button, I'm going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and launch myself out of bed. And she said, and it worked. I didn't sit there thinking. I didn't overthink. I didn't get depressed. I didn't go, I don't want to get up. I just went 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom, up. And she said she did that for days and it worked. So she has incorporated that and she's done a lot of research on this. And apparently your brain actually, you can't do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because it's too easy and your brain won't react to it. But if you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you're concentrating on that. You're not concentrating on the stuff you don't want to do. So you're just doing it. So when you get scared or you think, oh, I don't want to do that, I don't know how that person is going to feel about it, whatever it is, whatever you're hesitating or procrastinating doing, picking up the phone for a sales call, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pick it up, dial. Don't even think about it. It's kind of like the Nike, just do it, right? And then clear out your mental and physical clutter so that you can focus on your goal. Clear out all the gremlins. You know, if you have a lot of physical clutter in your house and it's getting in the way of a serene environment that you can actually think, you know, unless you're like my father-in-law who has piles and piles and piles and he knows where everything is, and if the cat goes in there and messes things up, he gets all upset. You know, just try to have a nice physical environment to really just concentrate and focus and have clarity when you're thinking about all this stuff, all the actions that you have to take. And then conquer the hardest part first, every single day. Every single day, eat the frog, if you've heard of that expression. Break things down so that they're in smaller pieces, more reasonable, that you know your mind, you can wrap your head around doing it. Not some big complicated project, just a simple step that you have to take. And then reward yourself and punish yourself. So if you say, oh gosh, I have to do a presentation and I have to put this thing together, but I really want to go to happy hour with my friends instead, so maybe I'll do it tomorrow. No, do it today, and if you don't get it done by happy hour, you know, you don't go to happy hour, just get it done. And then plan a good reward for yourself the next day. What can I do tomorrow? Tomorrow I'm going to have a great day because I don't have to worry about the presentation, right? Shift your mindset. So, everyone has the same amount of time. It's the only commodity, whether you're rich, poor, nationality, whatever it is, we all have the same amount of time. We have 1,440 minutes a day to accomplish things. So, if you're procrastinating, think about that. Think about the time, right? You can't get your time back. It's the only thing we can't get back. You can always make more money, but you can't make more time. So think about how valuable your time is. You know, if you have a salary, how much are you making every minute? And multiply that by 1440. That's your day, right? So, or the opposite, probably you would know what your day is. Divide it into 14, I'm not a math major. Divide it by 1440 and get your minute. How many, you spend 5 minutes on Facebook, how much money are you losing? How much time are you losing? You're losing 5 minutes, but you'll never get it back, right? And so you have to change your thoughts and your perception of things, your perception of time. You don't have tons and tons of time to do things. So keep that in mind. Next time you're procrastinating, say, why am I procrastinating, number one, and then go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and do it. Parkinson's Law. This is why I like the 60 to 90 day goals. The shorter your deadline, the quicker you'll start it. So if you, what does this say? Shorten deadlines to get better results. This causes you to focus more intently and not procrastinate because you know you have to get it done. I think that's on your sheet too. So to maximize your success, all these goals that you're going to have, like I said earlier, there's going to be habits that you're going to have to change because you're going to have to be a different person, and there's probably some routine things that you do that you just probably either need to stop or some that you might want to incorporate in. Perfectionism. How many in here are perfect? We won't ever get there, right? So why try? Procrastination, we already went over that. Hanging out with the wrong crowd. Who has a wrong crowd that they hang out with? The one that you say, oh, I want to go on a diet. Oh, you know what? Great. Let's go to happy hour and go to breakfast in the morning, and let's have some dessert at dinner. And, you know, what are you doing tonight? Let's go out and do this or that or the other. And you're going, what part of I'm starting a diet did you not understand? People who take your time up. Does anyone have that friend who calls every time she and her boyfriend break up or whatever it is? She's having issues with her kids, and she takes, you know, half hour to tell you the whole scenario, and you start seeing the number going, oh my gosh, I don't even want to pick the phone up. I know it's going to take 30 minutes to get her off the phone, right? Even though you want to be a good friend. Just pick how you react. That's the other thing. Some of this wrong crowd we can't really get rid of because it might be our family or our best friend who really is a great person, right? But how are you reacting to it? Maybe there's something that you can change as far as your communication with them.
Sometimes you can retrain them.
Yes.
When I'm done, because I am diving, I'm like, I'm not drinking with you guys. Sorry if that makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah. And so they know. Saying yes. Every time you say yes to someone else, you're saying no to yourself. Because every time you say yes to someone, you're giving them your time, and anything that you had on your plate that was important to do, you're going to either have to push to another time or you aren't going to get done. So just be very careful when you say yes automatically to doing something. And then rushing through your day. How many of us just get up and go, rush through our day, don't even think about it, we're running red lights, getting to work, doing this, doing that, and mindlessly multitasking. That's not good for us. We need to get up early, focus on us, things that we want to do. Maybe first thing in the morning, you take a 10-minute walk around the block before you jump in the shower. Just clear your head and get grounded and focused every morning. Then get in your car with plenty of time to get to work, and don't ride red lights, and get to work feeling refreshed, calm, you know, focused. So good habits, set priorities daily and then prioritize your tasks. So how important are they? How big is it? Is it your big thing you need to do? Of course, prioritize that as your very first task of the day so you can get that out of the way. Reduce decision fatigue. So figure out what you can turn into something that's automatic, that's in your routine. So Steve Jobs, everyone know who he is? What color shirt did he always wear?
Blue.
Dark blue? Okay. Why do you think he did that?
So it saved him time picking out his wardrobe.
He knew every morning what he was going to wear. He just went out and bought a whole bunch of them and wore one every day. He didn't have to think about it, right? Obama wore the same suit. Different tie, different shirt, same suit. I don't know how many he had, but sure he bought like 20 of them, and that's what he did. So just think of what is it that you can do to cut down on some of your decision making. I mean, who cares if you wear the same shirt every day? Start early. Challenge yourself. Get up an hour early. And I'm saying this now because we just had a time change a couple weeks ago, so it might be a little easier for you. But just get up an hour early and think about what you could accomplish. Get up before everybody else gets up. Get up before the kids are up or the husband's up or whatever. I know that when I get up early, it doesn't really matter. My cats are still going to want food right then, so that's something I always end up doing. But other than that, the earlier you get up, you can focus on yourself. Just have time. Get plenty of sleep and take lots of vacations. Take a vacation every year if you can, just to recharge, even if it's a weekend getaway in the car somewhere, even if it's by yourself. Just recharge, whatever you need to do. So, again, recharge, I don't know why that's up there. Stay fit, exercise, be engaged, at least 20 minutes. I say 10 if you're starting out, it doesn't matter. Walk around the block without any electronics. Hear the birds, smell the air, see the trees, feel the air on you. Just 10 minutes a day, first thing, no electronics. And then turn your electronics off at night before you go to bed. They say a good hour. It takes your body to kind of get out of that electronic mode. And then don't multitask. I used to be a really good multitasker. Made mistakes all over the place, was frazzled all the time, doing this and that and this and that. In my office, I had 2 computers. I was just, I don't recommend it at all. So don't multitask. You don't focus as well. And focus is very important because that gives you your clarity. So set a goal for yourself every day, a personal goal that will make you have that streak that we talked about. So, yes? Oh, I'm sorry. So if you decide that you're going to take your 10-minute walk every day, make that your streak. That's your consistent. That's your goal that you're going to do every single day, a 10-minute walk around the block. Make a stop doing list. What is it that you're doing every single day or once a week or some routine task that you really don't need to be doing? So instead of a to-do list, make a to-don't list. Know your energy cycles. Some of us are really energetic in the morning. Some of us are really energetic at 2 a.m., whatever it is. Know what it is. Know what your energy cycles are, because those are when you want to do your important tasks. Then again, focus. Don't multitask, like I said earlier. Wake up, like I said, wake up an hour earlier before anyone else in your house is awake. And use that time for yourself, no matter what it is. Even if it's just to sit down, have coffee, and look out the window and not have a thought in your head. Right? Even if it's just to clear your mind. And then doing that, the magic hour, doing that gives you more time to do things that you want to do. So imagine getting up in the morning and the first thing scheduled is something you really want to do, not have to do, but you just want to do it, right? It'll make getting up easier. So you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you launch yourself out of bed and then you do something really fun for yourself, right? And then again, they say for the magic hour to work, you need to turn off electronics at least an hour before bed because you want to wake up refreshed. So successful people there's been a lot of research on some things that they've actually done that they have a lot in common, and those are the millionaires, the billionaires. There were, I want to say it was 160 of them that were interviewed, and all these things were in common of what they do every single day. They wake up early, number one. They do wake up early, like before 6 o'clock or before. They eat a healthy breakfast or protein shake. They exercise in the morning, whether it's yoga, walking, running, whatever. They drink 24 ounces of water every morning, at least. Not at least, I'm sorry, up to. So some drink 8 ounces, 16, 24. They put lemon in it, but they do it every single morning because first thing before breakfast, as a matter of fact, because it flushes out your system in the morning. So any toxins, and I don't, I've had tendonitis in my hand for a while, which is actually better now. But I remember my chiropractor telling me that at nighttime, when you go to bed at night, that's when the inflammation starts coming out of your body. So the inflammation in your body starts like getting to where it's going to come out in the morning first thing. So if you took like Boswellia or an anti-inflammatory thing at night in your tea or whatever it is, or any kind of inflammation, anti-inflammation thing like turmeric or whatever, do it at nighttime because it just really makes the toxins get to where they're ready to come out of your system, because that's when it happens. And I'm trying to remember everything. But in the morning when you drink your lemon water first thing, it flushes the system out. So the toxins, all the inflammation and everything comes out. So that's why they do that. It really keeps you healthy.
Is turmeric better at night than in the morning?
That's what he said. Yeah, like put it in get turmeric tea, hot tea.
Better doing it in the morning.
I think you can do it both even, but because I do it in the morning as well. And then they meditate, they journal, or they read. They do something to ground themselves before they get in the car and go to work. Just makes them have a little more clarity. And here are the benefits, right? They're calmer, they're grounded, they have a better attitude. They tend to be fitter and healthier. They have more time to do what's important to them, not to everybody else. They get more done, they have more energy, and they have a positive attitude. So those are some of the benefits to the things that they do every single morning, and the morning's important. Even if you're not a morning person, get up at 10 o'clock then instead of noon, or whatever it might be, or 11 instead of noon. Do 1 hour. So 10 helpful tips. I don't know, did any of you go to Whipple? Samantha Ettis was a speaker there, and she wrote a book, and in her book she talks about the golden triangle. The golden triangle is a concept of making your life easier by scheduling everything you do in the same area. So if you live in North Myrtle Beach, don't go to Surfside to get your hair done. If you have kids and they all go to this one school, what is around, and you drop them off every day, what is in that area? You know, is there a restaurant there that you could go have lunch? Is there a beauty shop there? Is your doctor's appointments in that, you know, could you get doctors in that area? Don't go all over town when you don't have to. Stay in a radius that's small so that you get, your time is much more valuable that way. I mean, you're saving time that way. But people don't do that. I know people who go all over the place for doctors and everything else when they really don't need to. Now, sometimes you do. If you're going to go to MUSC for things, there's no getting around that. But for the routine things in your life, try to put them all in the same area. Pay bills electronically and automatically. Just that way they're done. You don't even have to think about them. Block your calls. How many of you get spam calls? And now what they're doing is they're taking your area code and the first 3 digits of your cell number and then just random, you know, they're trying to make it look like your number so that you'll think, oh, they must live down the street. They're mobile phones. So anyway, what I do is if I answer at one time and it's one of those kind of calls, I just block it. And if you are working and you're busy, get one of these signs to put on your door. Be back at whatever. Put a time on there. Give yourself, if you need 2 hours, 2 hours. 2 hours from now, I'll be back. Use Google to avoid busy times. You know, if you're going to go to the grocery store or whatever it is, they have those things now that tell you what time it's busy. So you know what time to avoid a store, a mall. If you're going to Best Buy on a Saturday, what's the best time to go? And then, like I said earlier, have a don't-do list, not just a to-do list. Use a timer. Those are so valuable. If I sit down to start doing something, I set a timer because I don't want to work. I want to say, okay, during this hour period, this is what I'm focusing on. And then after that hour period, how much did I get done and how much more time do I need to spend on it? They say if you spend more than 90 minutes on a task, you start losing your focus. You just start kind of, your brain gets tired. So you have to take, you have to take breaks, and so that's how I take my breaks. Plan no more than 90 days at a time, like I said earlier, because of the Parkinson rule, or law. And then don't check email every time you get a bing. Just check it 3 times a day and be done with it. You can get so sucked into that. And then what you're doing is giving everyone else your time. Use your camera phone. I use my camera phone, my phone camera for everything. I mean, if I go to a restaurant and I like something, I'll take a picture of it on the menu so I can remember it. If I have a recipe I want to, if it's anything that I want to remember, instead of writing things down or trying to find, or typing it into my notes or whatever it is, I just take picture. You can always delete them later if you don't need them, but anything you don't have to remember up here, take a picture of, and it's so much easier. Get everything out of your brain. You got enough going on up there. And that's really the end of the presentation. I want to tell you about a book coming out, Power of Coaching. There's 21 authors. I'm one of them. And it will be on Amazon December 5th. The Kindle version's out right now, but you can go to my website and get it that way if you'd like. But it's a great book because it talks about the different coaches, the different types of coaching, but it tells their inspirational story on why they became a coach and clients that they've helped. So you might find a story in there that really resonates with you. And it's going to be a great book when it comes out. Like I said, it's on Kindle, so you can get it now. And that's it.